welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, we'll be predicting the full card of fights for UFC 293, Adesanya versus Strickland. So without further ado, let's get into the predictions. But wait a sec. Before we get into that, me and Nikki Bess are going to recap last week's card, UFC Paris, and talk about how that went. So I believe we both went 7-4. I think he might have been 8-3. I went 7-4, I believe. And I think neither of our parlays hit, but yeah, it was like one miss that caused the parlay to not hit. But going to try to work on that and try to do better this week. That's all we could do. And yeah, it was like a terrible decision, home cooked decision. Nora Cannoli got away with one over what's her name? Jocelyn Edwards.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. You just got to try to pick picks that they can't rob you. Like pick picks that are gonna win and don't give them the leeway to rob you. So don't give the highwayman no chance to rob you. So, but all along, solid card, 7-4. Even despite some bad decisions, well, one bad decision. I think it was only one bad decision on the card, and that was the one, the Jocelyn Edwards versus Nora Cannoli fighting, got a decision. Could have been some questionable ones, but only really one bad decision on that card. But yeah, it is what it is. And Nikki Bess, how'd you do on the card? Like, how'd your stuff do?
Yeah, I did 8-3. The parlay. So I when I did my parlay last week, it wouldn't let me do multiple bets on one thing, so I had to do them individually. So 2 out of the 3 hit of my individual parlays. But I think it was a good card. I think the predictable people won that we were, kind of leaning towards, like the Cyril Gahn, the Fareed Basharat. I think I just saw Basharat as being a little bit slower to start. When he fought his last fight, he was very methodical, and it seemed like he just rushed into this one to get it done, and he got it done. It was pretty spectacular. So I give the guy that. I wasn't mad at it. But what do you think's next for Benoit Saint Denis?
Benoit Saint Denis, I think with this win right here over Thiago Moises, I definitely think this is going to fast track him a bit because Thiago Moises has been in there with the Makhachev, the Bobby Greens, and whatnot. He has picked up some good wins. So even though he might not be at his best right now, he's still a young fighter in his prime, probably not even peaked yet. And for Benoit Saint Denis to go out there and dominate him and finish him the way he did, I think that's going to thrust him further up. I think a Jalen Turner could be a good matchup for him. I think a Dan Hooker could be a good matchup for him, to give him that, higher ranked spot or a chance at a higher ranked spot. So I think that's what's next for him, like a Dan Hooker, maybe a loser of, well, that's probably too big a jump. But so definitely I think in that Dan Hooker, Jalen Turner range, and maybe even Beneil Dariush coming off a loss, that could be a good match for him.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you think?
I agree 100%. I think he came out there and he shined. He's a really good fighter. I knew that he was good, but I didn't know he was great, and he proved he was great last week. So I'm extremely proud of the guy. He came out there and dominated, which I saw him doing, and it gives me a higher confidence in his next fight. I think the skill level he needs to slowly equate to better fighters so that he has the opportunity to grow. But I definitely think a Dan Hooker, Jalen Turner is beautiful. What do you think's next for Manon Fiorot?
Manon Fiorot, I think what's next for her is like either the loser of the next title fight or get the next title shot. I mean, who else is really waiting there? I think Aaron Blanchfield is waiting there, so maybe an Aaron Blanchfield title eliminator. I don't feel like Aaron Blanchfield needs to take the fight. She doesn't have to, but they've been talking. And I know Aaron Blanchfield, she's young, she's a gamer. I think a lot of these younger fighters, she's not even 26, she's very young. So they're more willing to take those fights versus like a person who's in their 30s, 31, 32. Like, I waited all this time to get to this point, and I'm not going to risk losing that versus Aaron Blanchfield. I feel like Aaron Blanchfield will be willing to take that matchup just to keep busy because she's going to at least have to wait like 6 months, 7 months to get a title shot because the current title shot hasn't even happened yet. So, like, current title matchup. So she might take that matchup. So if she does take that matchup, that's the next matchup for her. If not, it's really not much out there waiting for Manon Fiorot in this division. Like, who else is there to fight?
Right.
So, yeah, I think our Aaron Blanchfield or, wait for maybe the loser of this current title matchup to fight to get that next title eliminator fight. And who do you think she should fight?
I agree. I think that's a beautiful perspective on it. I think that she's earned her shot. I think if she's going to fight anybody, it would be Aaron Blanchfield for the title eliminator. And then she would just be a contender if she won. If she lost, I think she would just have to, go through one or two people to get back in that contention. But I think that would be a good fight. I think Manon, showed how sharp she was, and I'm just honestly impressed at how she handled Rose, because I thought Rose, a lot of people thought Rose was going to win, because Rose comes out there and head kicks you in the first 10 seconds and there's nothing you can do. But she, outworked her. She got that big cut in the side of her head, which I thought was going to be a problem because she was bleeding, but she did great. So I'm really happy for her. What do you think's next for Cyril Gahn? Because Tom and Aspinall called him
Sorogan,
out. Yeah.
yeah. I feel he feels like he should get an instant title shot, even though he's not no former champ. Well, he's a former interim champ, but not a former undisputed champion. He lost dominantly to John Jones, definitively to John Jones. So I don't feel like beating Spivak, who had not really proven himself to be this elite fighter. Spivak had got a good stretch going for him, but he hadn't proven himself to be like a Jelton Almeida, a Aspinall, or Pavlovich or nothing. So it's not like beating him going to get you that title shot. So I feel he needs one more fight. He might try to sit around and get it, but he's not going to get it. I think the best thing he could probably hope to sit around and hope that John Jones wins and retires, or Stipe wins and retires, and the belt gets vacated, and then him and Aspinall or him and Pavlovich fight for a vacated title. But I think he's going to end up having to fight one more fighter to get to that title eliminate. Well, he's going to have a title eliminated fight to get that title shot, and it's going to come either against Aspinall or Pavlovich or even Jelton Almeida. So I really think Aspinall is the best fight for him next. And I think Pavlovich already did what he needed to do to get that spot, and Pavlovich's not going to give it up. He's already sitting around waiting for that belt shot. So I think Aspinall versus Gahn is only the right matchup next to get that next title eliminator and keep them both busy while they wait for the things to transpire. How you feel?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think him and Tom Aspinall should fight. I saw them drinking beers after Cyril Gahn's win, so I think they're both really nice guys, which makes it hard to anticipate the two fighting. But I agree. I think the loss to Jones, he just needs to put one more nail in the coffin to be able to get that in that range. And I think either Jalton Almeida, like you said, or Pavlovich, or even Tom Aspinall, he just needs to fight one of them. And if he beats one of them, then he's definitely in the talks for getting that belt title back, or getting a chance at least. I don't think he beats John Jones 9 times out of 10. So he's a good fighter, but not John Jones. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's more over the thoughts.
yeah. I don't think Donald will fight him again. He already beat him definitively. He's like, you can't get better than that. It's like, what
Mm-mm.
risk is there? I mean, what reward to take that risk? He knows Rogan's a good fighter, and it's a chance he could win, but like, it's nothing behind it. Like, it's not, oh, it's gonna make my legacy greater. It's not gonna be worth the training and stuff. So, like, unless Rogan go out and just knock everyone else out, like, there's no reason to fight him. But yeah,
Right.
now we get into the prediction side of things, the main point. So let's get into it. So in our first fight, we have in the welterweight division, we got Kevin Joseph versus Kiefer Crosby in the welterweight division. How I feel about this one right here is I'm going low confidence. Kiefer Crosby came in. I think he had one fight, and he, I guess, nut kicked or something Mike Jackson, and that was ended up being like a DQ loss for him. Then he get left. Can't I think he took one more loss. He took like 1, 2, 3 more fights, and now he's back in the UFC. Not particularly high on him. I'm leaning Kevin Joseph, low confidence to beat him. But against dealing with two guys who you don't really have a whole lot of tape, at least not high level tape on. But yeah, I'm going Kevin Joseph. I feel like he can go. He will mix it up more. I feel like his endurance is better. I feel like his patience is better. I feel like Kiefer Crosby could come out steaming hot early, will fade heavy. I feel like Kevin Joseph will just be able to wear him down, probably take him down, drop him ground and pound him over the course of the fight, wear him down, get like a late second round TKO. So in this one, I have Kevin Joseph via second round TKO. Now over to Nikki Betts.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I think Kevin just said he fought Jack Della Maddalena, which he didn't win, but he showed his endurance and his ability to stay in there. And if you can weather Kiefer Crosby's storm and turn around and take it over, I think that's what he does. I think he comes in there. I have a very low confidence because both guys are at the same level. The first 5 fights of the night, I have a low confidence in all my picks because they're just so evenly matched. But I think Kevin Gisette squeaks out a win in this one. So I got Kevin by decision.
All right. I like it. Now to our next one, we have in the featherweight division, we got Shane Young versus Gabriel Miranda. And once again, you said low confidence on a lot of these fights. I'm not gonna go low confidence for the first 5, but definitely these first two or three, like low confidence on it. And I definitely agree. Now they want to dealing with trustworthy fighters. You got Shane Young versus Gabriel Miranda in the featherweight division. Going low confidence, Shane Young. I just think the stylistic matchup favors him, at least based off what we've seen. Gabriel Miranda, I feel like there's a whole lot of just digging for straws and this, I guess, just hoping Shane Young chokes again. That's what you're kind of dealing with. Because Gabriel Miranda, his last fight, he fought Benoit Saint Denis on what short notice but you could say, oh, he fought this guy and that guy. Like that was such an issue for him. But he didn't show any promise in that fight. You fought him, you signed up for it, cool on you. But it's not like you went out there and got take that. Well, I think he did get one takedown on him, I believe. So that's one good thing.
And then it
But
got
did nothing with
reversed.
it. Yeah, he got dropped like once in the first round. He got dropped twice in the second round. He just got picked apart. He didn't really do nothing at all in the fight. So it's really nothing really to lean on for him. I guess you could try to reach for that takedown and use that to say he's gonna take Shane Young down and submit him. But Shane Young, when I really look at his resume, I think the only person who really took him down and dominated him in that aspect was Alexander Volkanovski, his training partner. Now I think that was way back when. Also, you look at that, they both kind of came in at the same time. But Volkanovski has accomplished so much more, and also Shane Young is still only 30, so like there's a lot of different things to look at. But yeah, I'm going Shane Young here. I just feel Gabriel Miranda didn't really show me much in the striking department. I think Shane Young is the better striker for sure. Gabriel Miranda probably had the grappling superiority, and I would give him that. But this when I look at his competition, look at the people he beat. He's beating these guys like 9-42 and stuff. Like his record is terrible. So it's nothing really for me to get behind. But ultimately, probably just a spot I'm just not even going to pick in. And I think Shane Young beats him in an ugly decision. Probably gonna be some takedowns, probably be some control on the ground. But Shane Young being in his backyard and whatnot, they're gonna favor him on the decision a little bit. And he's gonna do just enough. He probably gonna win the fight, right out. But if it does come a close fight that goes to a decision, I think they're gonna edge it for Shane Young. So in this one, I have Shane Young via decision. Not over to Nikki Betts.
Yeah, I agree. The way Gabriel performed against Benoit made me doubt him because his striking just wasn't there. He uses it to set up his jiu-jitsu and his wrestling a little bit, but he got reversed multiple times. So if you just come in there with a strong mindset, like I think Shane Young has, I think Shane Young is a better overall kickboxer and just an overall better fighter. I think if they were laying on the ground, at a jiu-jitsu tournament, then Gabriel Miranda definitely has the edge. But considering this is a full combat, I see Shane Young picking him apart and just Gabriel not really showing anything that is impressive. So in this one, I got Shane Young by decision.
All right. Now to our next one, we have in the welterweight division, we got Blood Diamond versus Charlie Raddick. And how for this one right here is I'm going to go low confidence Blood Diamond to beat Charlie Raddick. So right now, Blood Diamond, I think last I checked, he was like plus 235, might be rising, might be lowering, but I think he's going to close as a dog, stay the dog. So that's the line to watch. And when you really look at this matchup, why is Charlie Raddick being in the UFC? Did he do something to deserve to be in the UFC? Not necessarily. It's like he has the skills kind of to be in the UFC to, I guess, get a shot, a chance. But does he got a shot? Does he really have a chance that like the UFC was really having their eye on this guy, looking at his skill set and saying this guy needs to be in the UFC? No. I think he's been brought in to give Blood Diamond a chance to win. I think Blood Diamond, I look at his last fight against Cozy, he defended a lot of his takedowns. I think even with getting taken down, he was never really in bad positions on the ground too much. And then I think each round he was able to do effective damage, especially in the second round. Had Cozy hurt several times in that fight. And I think Cozy's a better overall fighter than Charlie Raddick. I think grappling probably just as good, if not a little bit better. Striking definitely much better than Charlie Raddick, and he's tougher than Charlie Raddick. Maybe not as good of endurance, but yeah, I think Blood Diamond's gonna come in here in his backyard. He's gonna have a lot of confidence. He's gonna have to be riding with his team, a lot of motivation, and he's getting a guy that's like kind of been brought in for him. It's not a tailor-made fight by no means, but I definitely think they're trying to give him a win. Now I think he'll take full advantage of that, be a defender takedown. Also, I don't like the durability of Charlie Raddick. I don't like what his cardio might be decent, but as far as when he's taking damage, he doesn't take it the best. And I feel like that's what Blood Diamond's gonna do: defend the takedowns, pressure him, tee off on him, and get him out there. Probably gonna sneak a couple elbows in there, then end it off with like a high kick, catch him, drop him, follow up with some ground and pound. and I think he gets him out of there like middle of the second round. So in this one, I have Blood Diamond via second round TKO. Not over to Nikki Betts.
Yeah, I agree. The Charlie Raddick is just not a very, well resumed fighter. He doesn't have a lot of good fights. He's not really that impressive. I think Blood Diamond, like you said, they're trying to bring someone in that they think that Blood Diamond could beat. Right now, Blood Diamond's 0-2 in the UFC, so they need to make their money back somehow. So I think if he works on his Brazilian jiu-jitsu, his wrestling, then he has serious potential to do great things. But I think right now he needs to handle the basics, which is his Brazilian jiu-jitsu and his wrestling. And if he improves, I think that, he can start moving up in competition. But I have a low confidence in Blood Diamond in this one to get it. I think fight doesn't go to decision is definitely the call for this play. So in this one, I got Blood Diamond by decision.
All right. Now to our next one. We have in the lightweight division, we got Nasrat Haqparast versus Landon Quinones. So lightweight division, how I feel about this one right here? I'm going to average confidence. Nasrat Haqparast to beat what's his name? Landon Quinones. So when I look at this one, Haqparast, when I look at his losses, like to what he lost to Bobby Green, he lost to Drew Dober. I think those two stand out. I think he might have one more loss, but definitely those two stand out. Yeah, when I look at those losses, he lost to strikers, like guys with clean striking, guys that have, been around the UFC and like not just anybody. And you go look at his last fight, he struggled a little bit with John McDessie, but yet again, another striker. Then when I look at Lando Quinones, he's kind of like more of a wrestler type fighter, like a wrestler with like an overhand, wrestler with a little bit of power in his hands. And I think those are typically the people that Nasrat Haqparast does extremely well with because he has the wrestling defense and stuff to take down. And then he's a more technical striker than them. And I think that's the fight going to be. I could say that Nasrat Haqparast will get it done in the distance, which he probably will. But when I look at the track record, I think he only has one fight that didn't go to the decision, or one fight that he won in the UFC that didn't go to the decision. So I'm gonna lean to a decision here. But I think Nasrat Haqparast is gonna have a pretty good fight here, and I think he's just gonna really be in control of this fight. I'm not gonna say he's gonna go out and just pick him apart from start to finish, but I do think he is firmly in control of this fight from start to finish. I think Quinones might have little moments here, but I think Haqparast is the overall better fighter. And also having that UFC experience won't hurt either. Like UFC experience with UFC wins, going with Quinones, who got dominated on Ultimate Fighter and is getting a lucky break here to be in the UFC. So in this one, I got Nasrat Haqparast via decision. Now over to Nikki Betts.
Yeah, I agree. Nasrat's a great kickboxer. He's slow and methodical, but he has really sharp punches, and then he throws punches in bunches that they always tend to land. So I respect his ability. I think he's overall the better fighter. I think they're pretty well matched. I think Nasrat has a lot of potential, but I think he's a great fighter as well. I don't think he's as good as Nasrat. I don't think that he beats Nasrat, but I think that he if he did beat Nasrat, the dude's going places. If he might have had one bad fight, and that's the one I saw, and that. But I don't see it like that. I see Nasrat dominating throughout the whole fight and not really missing the punch at all. So in this one, I got low confidence Nasrat by decision.
Was it? All right. Now to our next one, we have in the lightweight division, we got Jamie Mullarkey versus John McDessie. And how I feel this one right here, I'm going average confidence Jamie Mullarkey to beat John McDessie. Is that an average confidence with me saying I'm gonna put money on Jamie Mullarkey? It's not, but yeah. I'm also one of the people that's like an advocate for John McDessie. He'll never get his full, all of his flowers. Probably like 5 years down the line, somebody's gonna make a highlight reel and he's gonna be on there a couple times. Like, oh, this guy's good. And go back and watch the fight. Like, oh, this guy was pretty good, especially in the striking department. He's one of the more technical strikers, in lightweight history. And they're gonna give him his props, but like right now they're gonna just treat him like a scrub to the extent. But yeah, do solid. But I would say I could go on not Jack Delaman. I'm going Jamie Mullarkey, average confidence. It's because age is undefeated. He's 38 years old. That John McDessie is. He's 38 years old. We also can't forget that Mullarkey does mix it up at times. He's not just a guy that's just gonna go out there and strike. He's a bit chinny. He has been caught, and definitely that's a possibility for McDessie. But I also feel like Jamie Mullarkey, having the experience he has, and going with McDessie, who hasn't really shown the best takedown defense or best grappling defense. Really, when you look at his career, he has got the benefit of being able to fight a lot of strikers. He didn't really fight too many grapplers, and when he did, he didn't have the best success. And I feel like Malarkey would look to mix it up and grind out a decision over John McDessie. I think it's gonna be a close fight, but I think Malarkey being the more well-rounded fighter and the younger fighter will allow him to win. And I think he wins pretty clear, competitive but clear win for Jamie Malarkey. So in this one, I have Jamie Malarkey via decision. Not over to Nikki Betts.
Yeah, I agree. I think John McDessie isn't. He just fought Nasrat, who's fighting before him last year. He proved he belongs in the UFC, but I think he needs to be more active in and out of the ring. I think he needs to fight more. He needs to prove himself more, and he needs to be more aggressive. I think that Jamie Malarkey is just too a better opponent. I mean, a better fighter than John. I think that Jamie Malarkey has more skill, has more grit, and he'll just outpoint John. But I have a low confidence in this one as well. I think it's very evenly matched because they're both kind of the same strikers, but I think John McDessie's kind of one-dimensional, whereas Jamie Malarkey can pull stuff out of his bag that he needs, like maybe some takedowns or, you know, mix up the punches and bunches. So I got Jamie Malarkey in this one, low confidence, and I think he gets it done by decision.
All right, good one. Now to our next one, we have in the featherweight division, we got Jack Jenkins versus Chepe Mariscal, and how I feel about this one right here is I'm going average confidence average confidence Jack Jenkins to beat Chepe Mariscal. And one funny thing about this fight, people are actually trying to use Trevor Peek as a reference point, but like, what does like Trevor Peek even have to do correlating this one? Like, oh, he came in on short notice, he was a dog, and he beat Trevor Peek, who was a lightweight. But Trevor Peek, really the only reason that Trevor Peek was a favorite, or at least the people that kind of knew of the fighters to an extent, was kind of in hopes that Chepe Mariscal will be a fighter that typically gets in wild exchanges. And Trevor Peek had the big blockhead; he was hard to put away, and he would catch him with a big sloppy punch. That's what kind of what you were banking on. You were banking on Trevor Peek to be this bigger, more technical fighter. Trevor Peek literally is the absolute opposite of technical. So it's like not even a comparison. Like now I'm coming down with Jack Jenkins. Jack Jenkins has pretty solid grappling. Not to say that he's such a great grappler, but I think he has enough grappling to be able to address what anything that Mariscal has to bring to him in the grappling department and keep it on the feet. Maybe score his own takedowns when necessary to get it, catch his win or recover. The only thing I feel like Jack Jenkins is a much more cleaner, crisper, technical, sharper striker. More efficient with his work and does more damage. Very debilitating leg kicks. I think he's going to pick apart Chepe Mariscal. I think Chepe Mariscal is going to make it a exciting fight, but I think Jack Jenkins, he typically does. He's going to invest in that leg kick, take away any bit of power that any bit of plant that Chepe Mariscal has pretty early. Just look really to this break him down, of course, fight. I think he stops him late second round. So in this one, I have Jack Jenkins via second round TKO. Not over to Nikki Betts.
Yeah, I think Chepe and Jack, this is a good evenly matched fight as well. But I think Jack is, probably I want to say he's going to lose only because I think Chepe's kind of on a trajectory like I saw Benoit on. I don't know. I think if he loses this one, I think that it's a problem because it's going to show Jack Jenkins might be overrated, but Jack Jenkins has a really good chance of winning this fight. He's a solid fighter, but I just see Chepe doing overall more work, and he's a serious underdog, and it'd be a big stretch to say he'd win, but I'm gonna lean towards Chepe in this one. So this one I got Chepe by decision.
All right, cool. And now to our next fight, we have in the light heavyweight division, we got Carlos Ulberg versus Dawoon Jung. And how I feel about this one right here is I'm gonna go average confidence. It could be high confidence with Carlos Ulberg here, but he can be a bit chinny. That's always concerning. But yeah, confidence might actually be a little bit high average, I guess. But I don't do that. So just broadly speaking, average Carlos Ulberg to beat Dawoon Jung. I just feel like Carlos Ulberg is clearly the better striker. He's faster. He's long. He's lanky. They're both long. And Dawoon Jung a little bit more filled out. But along with that length on Carlos Ulberg, he has speed. He has technique. Multiple time kickboxing champion. I don't know about world champion, but he definitely won a lot of different respectable championships, a lot of little respectable tournaments. So he has the pedigree there to back the skills that he has, or the accolades, or the speculations. Everything can be too quick for Dong Jung, too sharp for Dong Jung. Catch Dong Jung reaching with some check hooks, just have him wobbled, and again, just be too fast, too quick. Dong Jung is typically like a slow trigger type fighter. Typically, it might be a case where he had fights where he started fast and got some finishes, but for the most part, he's a guy that kind of really drags the fight out. He walks you down like a slow lurch, looking for the big shot, looking to pose the size on you, but doesn't really cut the cage off well, doesn't push a good pace, doesn't fight with a whole lot of, I guess, urgency. And I feel like that's going to end up being bad for him. He's going to just get in, like, sniped with leg kicks, just like Adesanya and Volkanovski do. Just stand out there kicking his legs out as he tries to slowly march him down. When he try to commit, he's going to get hit with check hooks, get kicked to the body, probably some stepping knees to the body. It's really just be too short. I mean, not too short, too slow and not urgent enough, and just lacking the skill to really materialize anything. I think eventually he just gets chewed up, gets countered, gets put out second round by Carlos Ulberg. So in this one, I have Carlos Ulberg via second round TKO. Now over to Nikki Betts.
Yeah, I don't think that Dong Jung poses a problem for Carlos Ulberg. I think he doesn't have the skill to do what Kennedy and Zechikwu did, which was outlast the punches of Carlos Ulberg and then take his chin. I think Carlos gets this done pretty easily. I think it should be an easy fight for him, and I think that they set it up so that Carlos, because he has some, some real serious people behind him with Izzy and the UFC probably invested in his career and wanting to see him win. And I just don't see Dong Jung posing a problem for Carlos. So in this one, I got medium confidence Carlos Ulberg by TKO.
TKO. Which round?
I'll say three.
Three?
Round three.
All right.
Yeah.
Now to our next one, we have in our first fight on the main card in the light heavyweight division, we got Tyson Pedro versus Anton Turkalj or Turkalji or whatever. And how I feel this one right here is I'm going average confidence Anton Turkalj to beat Tyson Pedro. I feel like we look at the history. History is very important in predicting, and like that's how you go from like kind of be hard to predict like newbies and people with no records versus people that have established records, especially over years and years. And with Tyson Pedro, his resume in the UFC has shown that he has not won a single fight beyond the first round. And Turkalj, at the very least, he's durable. He's annoying. He's not that fighter that's going to, wow you with his striking, wow you with his grappling, wow you with any skills, IQ, or anything like that. But what he will be, he'll be durable. He'll push a pace. He'll be annoying, and he'll be there as long as you allow him to be. And typically, that's going to be pretty much all around with most people. Unless you're just phenomenal, you like Jefferson Almeida, you're going to be able to put him away. Other than that, you're going to have to deal with that guy for 15 minutes, and he's going to be annoying, exhausting to deal with. He has shown a sturdy chin. I think he beat Ebo Oslin, who has big power, was able to rally, take his power, rally, and submit him out in the second round. Who else did he fought? He fought Vito Petrino, who's doing well in the UFC and probably gonna go on to be one of the top fighters in this division for the next year or two, and then probably being there for like 5 years at the top of the division, whether he becomes champion or not. So he's been there with some heavy hitters and has been able to door them. And I think both of those guys hit harder than Tyson Pedro. Maybe not be as well rounded, maybe not, but what I do think he will be able to take Tyson Pedro out of the first round, which he has all his wins are in the first round. So take him out of his money round, wear him down. I think he grinds out a decision over Tyson Pedro. Very close fight. Might get a robbery here because it's home cooking. But I think Anton Turkalj should be able to drown him, take him out of the first round, just have him exhausted and gasping for air, output dropping significantly, and just outworking him, outgrinding him, and beat him in a decision victory. So in this one, I have Anton Turkalj via decision. Not over to Nikki Betts.
Yeah, I say there's everything for Anton to win. Everything's in his favor to win. Not Tyson Pedro not really making it out of the first round too well, and not being able to outwork Anton. I just saw Anton and Sean Strickland. They were sparring, and he looked like a real competitor against Sean Strickland. I'm not saying that he is a competitor for Sean Strickland, but he showed that a little bit of what he can do. And I think I think he's supposed to win. I think that's what's supposed to happen. But I think Tyson Pedro actually wins because he's in his hometown. He's in it in his element, and I think that he just either gets the split decision or he does something spectacular in the first round. I think it's one of those two things, and I feel bad for Anton because he's fighting in a place where it's not his native home and he doesn't have the hometown advantage. But I think Tyson Pedro just does it, and I don't know how. Probably first round TKO. Let's do that. Let's go Tyson Pedro first round TKO.
All right. Now to our next fight, we have in the heavyweight division, we got Justin Taffa versus Austin Lane. I guess 1.5. Can't really call it two because the first one was like a no contest. But anyway, they're rematching. I'm going Justin Taffa, low confidence to beat Austin Lane. When I really looked at the fight, like watching, I was kind of glad it ended the way it ended because Justin Taffa didn't look like he was having the best success. And after Austin Lane was getting off on him. But I feel like the Taffa brothers are having going to have a good year, or at least a decent year this year. And I feel like he's going to build off his brother's win and come in here, make his adjustments. Also been around the whole team basically to, give him some pointers. This is where you were going wrong, this and that. He's a young fighter as well. I mean, he's not even 30 yet as a heavyweight. In heavyweight, like 30 is like your 20s in heavyweight. So he's not even 20 yet as far as the heavyweight go. And I think what he's going to do, they're going to make the adjustments. They could be able to find the chin of Justin Lane or Austin Lane, put him out, and I say second round. I'm gonna say second round TKO for Justin Top. I feel like he'll make the adjustments, be to find him and be to put him out second round. Probably fill out first round, get his range down in the first round. Probably still Austin Lane probably come out and win the first round just by our work rate and landing a little bit more. But then by the second round, he's gonna have his range. He's gonna be able to find him, find that chin, connect, put him out second round. So in this one, I have Justin Taffa via second round TKO. Now over to Nikki Betts.
Yeah, I think Justin Taffa gets this done. I think he gets it done in the first round. I think he makes the adjustments like you said, and he just finds the chin of Austin Lane. I think Austin Lane is a great fighter, but I think Justin Taffa is a better fighter. I think that he has more in the gas tank, more in the punching power, and I think he touches Austin Lane's chin at some point. So I say it's an easy decision to make. I think Justin Taffa wins this. I think he wins it by first round TKO, and that's my official prediction.
All right, solid. Now for the next one, we have in the flyweight division, we got Mano Cop versus Felipe Dos Santos. So you got Mano Cop, who's a high-ranked flyweight, going in with Felipe Dos Santos. And when I really look at what am my confidence, I said, I'm gonna go high confidence. Let's go high confidence here. Mano Cop to beat Felipe Dos Santos. And a lot of it's just for skill, ranking, and stuff. I think he's the better overall fighter, especially at this given point. Also, history favors Mano Cop here as well. When we look at it, a lot of these exceptional talents coming in, they typically lose their first fight when they get a match with a journeyman or a gatekeeper. I'm not saying Mano Cop is a gatekeeper. He's actually a fighter that's on the cusp of a title shot and former world champion in Risen. So he's even better than that. So they typically lose to these journeyman. They give them the rub, give them the experience, like like in the past, like a Matt Brown or something, like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, or that's just one draw. They come in there, they fight the veteran gatekeeper journeyman type fighter, their debut. And they typically lose like a close decision. That's how it typically goes. And they rally, and later on their career would bounce up, but this will be their learning experience basically. So he's coming in at the deep end of this division. I see the talent in him, but he has not fought one to the level of Mano Cop. And again, he's going to thrust it into the deep end in his very first fight, and it's on short notice, a fight that he's not even supposed to be in. I think Mano Cop will be too fast, too sharp. Felipe Dos Santos like to mirror Charles Oliveira a lot, and Oliveira is not the best at defending punches. I think he has a little bit better chin than Oliveira, but doesn't have the grappling or the striking threat. He's not nearly as lethal as the guy he's imitating. I think Mano Cop will be too fast, too sharp, get it, split his guard, catch him with shots, and just really have him like sin double or triple. And I think he puts him out first round. So in this one, I have Mano Cop via first round TKO. Now up to Nikki Betts.
Yeah, I think Manuel Cobb gets it done. He's going to be in my parlay. I think Felipe Dos Santos is an up-and-coming young fighter. You would think the younger fighter has the advantage, but Manuel Cobb's only 29. Like, he's still in his prime. Like, he's at his prime. And Felipe dos Santos, I think he's, he has the ability in the future to do great things. I just don't think for this fight he wins. How Manuel Kopp wins, I don't know. I think um, Felipe dos Santos can last over 1.5. I think that I'll give the kid that, but I don't think he wins. So in this one, I have Manuel Kopp, very high confidence via third round TKO.
All right. Now to our co-main event, we have in the heavyweight division, we got Tai Tuivasa versus Alexander Volkov. And how I feel about this one right here is I'm going average confidence Alexander Volkov to beat Tai Tuivasa. I think Tai Tuivasa is a solid enough fighter, and when now he's durable, he definitely has a very good puncher's chance in this one because Volkov doesn't really defend himself too much. Chin be like dipping a lot of times, be hanging out there, be square a lot of times. But yeah, outside of a puncher's chance, I can't really give Tai Tuivasa. I feel like Volkov could win a striking matchup. He could even potentially win a slugging matchup. He could go out there and mix up grappling and win that as well. He could sub him. He could win in a lot of different ways, whereas Tai Tuivasa really just relying on one big punch chance. I can't see Tai Tuivasa being a more technical fighter. I kind of see him relying on catching him. Maybe a Derek Lewis type of fight where he's kind of getting picked apart and he finds that right shot and puts him out. Or, maybe at the beginning of the fight, he just finds that shot early on or something, or in the middle at some point. But other than that, I can't really get behind him here. I think Volkov will be too sharp, too long. I think he'll be stabbing with some keeps to the body and extending his length and maximizing his length. It's really picking apart Tai Tuivasa, especially seeing the fact how hard, how bad Tai Tuivasa reacts to getting kicked in the body. So he'll be stabbing the body a lot, ripping to the body, stabbing with the jab. It really be mixing up on him and being long, keeping it long, and it's really exploiting his reach against the shorter Tai Tuivasa. Shorter, very hittable Tai Tuivasa. Tai Tuivasa has not worked on his defense at all either. So he'll be pretty hittable and relying on a big puncher chance. And I just feel like Volkov's going to come in knowing that, might make some takedown just to throw him off a little bit. Then that on feet, just be stabbing with teeps to the body all day long and really putting the mix on him. And I think he gets him out of here second round. Just accumulation and body work. So in this one, I got Alexander Volkov via second round TKO. Now over to Nikki Betts.
Yeah, I think everything in the playbook, like one of the fights before this, I think everything says Alexander Volkov wins this. I think everybody thinks Alexander Volkov is, better, bigger, faster, more dynamic, and has more in his tool belt. Because Tai Tuivasa is kind of one-dimensional. He's a really good striker. That's he's great at that one thing, and all he needs is one chance to hit your chin. And I think this is that fight where I say Tai Tuivasa wins, and I only say that because he has a puncher's chance, and I think if you're gonna bet it, I would bet Alexander Volkov, but my choice to win is Tai Tuivasa. I want Tai Tuivasa to win. I like Tai Tuivasa, and I think that if he can find the chin of Alexander Volkov's going to sleep. So in this one, I got first round TKO Tai Tuivasa.
All right. Now to our main event, we have in the middleweight division for the undisputed middleweight title between reigning undisputed champion Israel Adesanya versus Sean Strickland. Now, how I feel about right here is I'm going lock confidence Israel Adesanya to beat Sean Strickland. I feel like Sean Strickland is kind of tailor-made for Adesanya, except the fact that he is a BJJ black belt. But Adesanya has been in there with a lot of BJJ black belts or people that are looking to take him down and use their grappling. And that's really been the majority of these fights. You might feel like, oh, he's full of strikers or he full of short, stocky strikers and he just kicked them all day. But in reality, most people before have been like high-level BJJ black belts or high-level BJJ practitioners. Like Costa, I think originally he was a grappler. Later on he shifted to a striker, but he had the grappler. He didn't really use it, but he was a grappler. Vittori for him twice, his whole approach was try to volume and grapple him. Didn't have much success there. I think his debut was a grappler. So a lot of these fighters have been grapplers that he has fought. So it's like nothing new for him. And Whitaker in the second fight tried to grapple him. So he has done pretty well with those type of fighters. So yeah, Sean Strickland will come in here, and also for the fact that Sean Strickland hasn't really been using his grappling as a strength for a very long time, since maybe when he was a welterweight, or maybe his first couple fights, like first couple years in the UFC. So anytime you really let your skill set kind of diminish, even if you're training it all day long, all year long, if you're not really implemented in your fights, it's going to diminish. So the fact that Ari wasn't a big threat for Adesanya, And now that he allowed it to diminish over these years, I can't really see his grappling being a big threat. Adesanya's gonna respect it. That's also gonna help him be able to deal with it. So I really don't see his grappling being a big factor here. Then Adesanya might surprise us and like hurt Strickland and try to tap him out, and he might have success with it. He's been training with Gordon Ryan and the other people. I don't think he's been training with Gordon Ryan. He's been training with the other guy. But I don't know. I forget his name right now. But
Nicky
the other
Rock.
world class guy they beat. No, not Nicky Ryan. Who's the other part of that team or their former team? I forget the dude name right now.
Yeah, I know who you're
But
talking about. Yeah,
yeah, I don't know why his name eluded me. That guy been all over Twitter and Instagram right now. He's
social
been
media.
trending.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's been trying to get on. He been in this fighters camp and that fighters camp. He's been talking a lot. I think Craig Jones is his name. It might be Craig Jones. If I'm
yeah, that
wrong, I'm
sounds
wrong. But
right.
I think it's Craig Jones. Yeah. So he's been training like, and I think they're from the same area or at least the same country. So and he's been helping Volk. So he's definitely been working on his BJJ a lot. We've seen him training. So I think Adesanya could sneakily pull out a sub here. But back to the prediction, I think Adesanya will be too sharp. Strickland walks very flat-footed. He doesn't defend leg kicks. Even his last fight against Abus Magomedov, he allowed Abus to just double him in strikes in the first round and just kind of relied on Abus getting tired. But Adesanya won't get tired. He'll stab him to the body with kicks. He'll like switch stances, kicking one leg, kicking another leg, like create an angle, kick his leg again. It's really just chew him up and take advantage of the fact that Sean Strickland coming with low hands and open body, open legs, and then really be able to chew him up and then start to bring those kicks up high and hurt him and bring those punches up high. And it's really just take advantage of the fact that Strickland is coming like, really one track minded, slow, methodical, coming down and just trying to slowly wear you down. That's all he's trying to do. And he's just going to be a moving punching bag that Adesanya is going to exploit and just take away his legs and chop him down like a tree. I think Adesanya puts him away third round. So in this one, I have Israel Adesanya via third round TKO. Not up to Nikki Betts.
Yeah, I really like this fight. I think the press conference is going to be more impressive than the fight, like everybody's anticipating. I think I'm going to have a great time watching it. I think it comes on tomorrow.
No, it's Saturday. Oh, you talking about the press conference?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not sure when the press conference. I think it's
I
probably tomorrow.
yeah, so I want to say tomorrow. I think it's going to be better than the fight. I don't think that Sean Strickland has the ability to defeat Izzy. I think Izzy's proven himself against multiple talents, and I think, like you said, Marvin Vettori is a better wrestler than Sean Strickland. I would say, because he utilizes it a lot more, and that gives you the experience in the cage. And Sean Strickland's ready to just try to outpunch you. So I think he's going to shoot for takedowns. I think this is an easy lock over 1.5 Izzy. No issues with that. I'm definitely betting that. And I think Sean Strickland, it's going to be the buildup will be great, but the actual fight itself will just be Sean Strickland just getting beat. And I feel bad for Sean, because Sean seems like, even though he says all these outlandish things, I think inside he's actually like a really nice guy. He's friends with Chris Curtis, and Chris Curtis seems like a genuinely good guy. So I'm excited for him to fight other people, but not Israel Adesanya. I think Izzy's just too fast, too quick, too patient, and he's gonna be able to outmatch Sean Strickland. So in this one, I got Israel Adesanya over 1.5, and I see Izzy getting it done. Third round sounds perfect.
All right, that's good. And that's the video. So what's well, that's not the full video. Now we're gonna come with our parlay. So my parlay for this card is going to be Adesanya, it's going to be Kopp, and it's going to be Carlos Ulberg. So Adesanya, Israel Adesanya, Mano Kopp, and Carlos Ulberg. That's my three. If you want to make it juicy, throw Blood Diamond there. He's definitely there. So maybe do a parlay with those three, then throw Blood Diamond in, or maybe turn Mano Kopp off and swap him with Blood Diamond, another parlay. But the main parlay, the parlay that we focus on is Adesanya, Ulberg, and Kopp. And Nikki Betts, what's your parlay for this card?
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I have the same exact bet. So I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. I got Izzy over 1.5, Ulberg not to go the distance, and Manuel Kopp over 1.5. I just think that those are the locks on this card, and I don't think there's any way you could say otherwise. Like I don't have faith in any other fighter in this card, and even Carlos Ulberg. I'm on the fence with him being able to get it done inside the distance, but I think he wins pretty easily. So And this one, I got Izzy over in 1.5, Carlos Solberg not to go the distance, and Manuel Kopp over 1.5.
I like that parlay. And yep, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and come back for more videos.